That's about as backwards that everything is right now. Good afternoon, everybody, and good evening. I am finalizing something really quick. Like before we get into some of these results, I'm watching some of these results come in right now on TV and online. Welcome, everyone. Hopefully, not too long of a night. See a lot of you guys already in here, so welcome to Legally Armed America. We are going to go over quite a bit of the election results as they come in tonight and work our way around to pretty much everything that we can find out what's going on with some of these races. There's actually some pretty critical races out there right now. You've got, and hang on a second, I'm trying to send a message to myself so that I can get it out to somebody else, and it's not going through. Obviously, some governor races tonight that I think are going to be critical for. I think a lot of people lose sight of governorships, not thinking that they mean a lot. But when you get right down to it and you start talking about things like constitutional carry, well, obviously it has a major impact. And unfortunately, in politics, a lot of people like to copy a lot of people. So when you see one particular state that aligns itself very similar to another state, you will start to see those governors start to think that way. Because most of these governors have intentions of being a state senator at some, or excuse me, a federal U.S. senator or congressperson at some point. So they just keep their finger on the pulse to see what everybody likes or doesn't like, because they don't really care about the people, and they never have. They care about getting elected and staying elected. So you usually see a monkey see, monkey do kind of thing happen when it comes down to that. So nevertheless, watching a lot of the governorships now, a lot of polls just closed like 3 minutes ago. So there's going to be a bunch of stuff coming in. If you hear a little bit of talking behind the scene, it's obviously something that I got a TV that I have going on over here. I apologize if it's distracting, but I kind of need that also. I'm listening to a little bit of what they're talking about, and I'm monitoring 6 different news sites online as well as talking to you guys. So again, welcome, guys. I hope you're having a good evening. I hope your states are doing okay. I don't know if you've got election results that have arrived at some point, depending on what coast you're on, East Coast all the way over into the West. Obviously, many of the East Coast polls are closing, and I think as of 3 minutes ago, they're all closed. So if you guys don't mind, give me 1 second to try to work this thing out that I cannot seem to figure out what is wrong here, because I'm trying to invite a guest, but I cannot get any of my stuff to open up in order to send that over to him. So we may not have a guest tonight. And John, if you're watching, I may not have you as a guest because I can't seem to get this link over to you. It's nothing to do with any technical stuff regarding StreamYard or anything like that. It's my computer. I was, just so you guys kind of know, I haven't been doing a whole lot of videos lately, and for several reasons. The news cycle has been a little dead in terms of the Second Amendment, but at the same time, I'm not one of these guys that says that I think I've been hacked, but I have been operating out of this studio exactly the way everything is for well over a year now. Suddenly, about a week and a half ago, a lot of stuff doesn't work anymore. I have what I assumed was some secure connections over here, but maybe they were not so secure. And I was worried that tonight I would not have the Wi-Fi stream that came here from a repeater from my house. So I ran a Cat5 line through my yard to my studio out here. My studio is built. It doesn't connect to my house, but it's a building in my backyard. So I ran a Cat5 line across the floor so that I could get a decent signal tonight to be able to visit with you guys. So hopefully that works. However, what that did was it screwed up a lot of other things that I have going on. So I don't know. Looks like I'm not going to be able to send text messages or emails from this iMac, at least right now. That's not something that I tested earlier because I didn't feel like I needed to. Once I had my internet connection, I thought I was good. So John, if you're out there, I'm probably not going to be able to have you on at 7:30. I'm going to keep working on it behind the scenes, but I have to get started looking at some of the stuff that just happened. It looks like they've called the Florida governor race for DeSantis. You guys know that I had a story out last week before. Some of you guys weren't real happy about it. The fact that I truthfully reported that at one of the DeSantis events that was on public property, they banned guns being there, which is actually against the law. It doesn't matter that it's DeSantis. It doesn't matter who it is. You can't ban guns at various places, regardless of the situation in the state of Florida. And the place where they banned guns was illegal to do so. It wasn't a hit piece against DeSantis. It was simply, this is what happened. It's like whenever a person walks across the street and you say that person walked across the street, it's not a hit piece saying they walked across the street, even if they fell. You just reported what happened. And that's what I did. And some people got butthurt over it. Quite frankly, I don't care. Just don't watch my videos if that's a problem. I mean, I'm not trying to twist what happened. I'm trying to report what happened. So nevertheless, that happened, and a person actually got arrested at that event. He was carrying a firearm, but that's not why he got arrested. He got arrested for being there. I'm assuming the charges they hit him with probably were trespassing, but he was outside and the event was inside. So he was technically not trespassing because he was outside. Anyway, I only bring that up because they've just called the Florida governor race for DeSantis. DeSantis has won. I'm glad DeSantis is the best candidate for the job. I was not trying to say don't vote for DeSantis. I was trying to say these are things that are happening, and they happened. Nevertheless, Crist is a horrible candidate and would be a horrible governor for Florida, which I don't think there was ever any threat that DeSantis wasn't going to win. Let's be honest. But nevertheless, DeSantis has won. Glad he won. He needs to win. He needs to hold Florida. I think he's good for Florida. I think he's good for the party in that state. So, again, a good thing. I'm not seeing any other. I did notice, in fact, guys, let me bring this in here real quick. I did notice earlier, this is a map that I pulled up. Yeah, they've called a few more races. Let's see. Over here, Vermont was called earlier. Let me go over to the map real quick so I can animate it so you guys can see it. Okay, Vermont here has been called. Peter Welch has won there. Let's see. Where's these other ones at? They're kind of on top of each other. Maryland, Chris Van. I guess that's, I don't know Chris's full name, and I can't hover over without it screwing up. Delaware, no election. Let's see here. Kentucky, yeah, they called Rand Paul earlier. Rand Paul was one of the first races they called today to say that he won. Let's see, North Carolina. It's getting close, but not called yet. Tim Scott, we knew he was going to win easily in Florida. South Carolina. And, of course, he has. Katie Britt has won in Alabama. Of course, Tammy Duckworth naturally won re-election in Illinois. And let's see, Oklahoma, Mark Wayne. See, this one I don't know. Let me see if I can't get up on that. I can't, apparently can't move fast enough to highlight it. Anyway, maybe I can click on it. Yeah, there we go. Mark Wayne Mullen. So let's get back to my main board. Now, how did I get off of that? There it is. All right. So, yeah, all my results are gone now. I don't know what's up with that. And let's see. I'm hoping that this will repopulate itself and the states will get colored again. I may have just clicked on something wrong. Let me get back out over here. So got the Senate over here, House over here. Let's look at the House real quick. This is a pretty good map too, by the way. This is actually a Google map. If you go to Google, if you look at what I typed in, 2022 live election results, and this is the map that will immediately pop up. Pretty good map. It updates pretty fast, and it's going to give you, if you look across the top, you're going to get the U.S. Senate, the U.S. House, governors, and ballot measures. Let's see. Governor, we were talking about that a second ago. So we knew that, yeah, we knew Maura Healey was going to win in Massachusetts. That was not one that we were questioning. Maryland, that's not been called yet. Illinois, J.B. Pritzker. You knew that was going to be the case. J.B. Pritzker. J.B. Pritzker is the big, I don't want to say fat to upset anybody, but the big round guy that's overly large, unhealthily big. He's the mouthy guy that after that shooting at that parade that they had, he's the mouthy guy that came out and made a bunch of false statements about AR-15s. And he actually has his eye on the White House in 2 years. So you'll be hearing the name J.B. Pritzker again soon. He does intend on throwing his hat into the ring for president. Look for more from him. Tennessee, Bill Lee has won governor. Alabama, Kay Ivey, we knew that was going to be the case. And of course, like I just mentioned, Ron DeSantis. I saw earlier that they were saying that on one of the very liberal networks, CNN, I'd like to listen to what they have to say every now and then because it's good to see what the other side says. And sometimes, I mean, let's face it, right now I have it on Fox News and here they're slanted too. They're biased, not always in favor of conservatives, but biased in their own ways. So it's always good to bounce around and get some of the other places. So I've been jumping between a bunch of the different networks today just to see if I can get different points of view. And they were talking about how, Ron DeSantis may not want to run for president in 2 years because he might barely eke by and win his governorship if he even wins. Well, looking at this right now, 75% of the precincts are in, and he's won by 1 million votes. So, I mean, look at that. There's a little over 6 million people who voted in the election, with 1 million more of those going to Ron DeSantis. I don't think this is a warning shot to Ron DeSantis. If nothing else, I think this validates Ron DeSantis as being a pretty strong candidate, especially in a state like Florida that it typically in the past could go either way. And because it has so many electoral votes, it's extremely important to carry that state. So Ron DeSantis, obviously, if he ran for president, would carry the state of Florida. And I think this just, again, validates his strength in the state of Florida as being the man to beat. So nothing else called in at this point. Let's go back up to the Senate and just see if they've called anything else. Doesn't look like they have. The House, a lot of House seats were up. Ballot measures. I'm not sure what ballot measures. I haven't paid much attention to the ballot measures, and I'm not going to. Let's just stick with this map for now. We're going to keep it on the Senate for now because I think a lot of us are really, really interested in what happens down here in Georgia. Right now, they've got Raphael Warnock at 745,000 to Herschel Walker's 579. If you'll look, it says 29% of the precincts are reporting. Now, this does not mean that this is going to be bad news for Herschel Walker necessarily, because one thing that they've seen, and you'll see in most of these polls, especially these early polls like this, you're going to see almost every single one of them with the Democrat having a pretty healthy lead. The reason for that is because they have found, and historically speaking, over the last couple of elections, more and more Democrats are voting early. Now, whether or not that's legitimate, who knows? But that's because we have their famous, which they love so much since COVID, and easy to manipulate mail-in voting. So they send a lot of that in. That's where you have all the dead people that vote and the people who vote more than once. That's in the mail-in voting. Well, that's your Democrats. A healthy number of those are Democrats. So you see most of these early polls, or early results, I should say, coming in where the Democrats have a pretty strong, healthy lead. That doesn't mean anything. In fact, a while ago, before they even called Ron DeSantis, Crist had probably 150,000 more votes that they could confirm, yet they were almost ready to go ahead and call the race for DeSantis because they knew all of the votes from today, the current votes, were going to well bypass those early votes from the Democrats. And they knew that the votes from today were going to be primarily, at least the majority of those were going to be conservatives or Republicans. So I don't think this spells doom for Herschel Walker with Raphael Warnock having that early lead, because remember, we've got Stacey Abrams over there. This is Georgia being one of the main states where they push the mail-in voting on the Democrat side. So that's why you see such a healthy lead. What I'm curious about, I want to make a note of this, is I can't have both up at the same time. Let's see. Raphael Warnock. is at 55.5%, with Herschel Walker at 43%. I want to see where the governor race is, because usually your Senate races and your governor races are very, very, very close in terms of percentages. With the Senate being the entire state, everybody in the state votes for your senator, and everybody in the state votes for your governor. Typically, your hardcore people are voting down party, straight down party lines. So you're going to see a reflection in those votes being very, very similar. In fact, we saw that earlier looking at results that were coming in from Florida. So let me go look at what the governor race is now that we got a snapshot of what that is. So, okay, so DeSantis has 57.7 to Charlie Crist 41.6. That doesn't make sense to me. Something. Oh, wait. What am I doing? Let me go back to Georgia. I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong damn state. So you got Stacey Abrams with 51.8%, and Kemp has 47. Now, see, this is a perfect example. Oh, my pen just blew up. This is a good example as to why that early voting is important to be aware of. So you've got Kemp with, it just blew up again. I'm getting rid of you. I'll get another one. So if we have Kemp with 47% being the Republican in the state of Georgia, and Herschel Walker is at 43%, Stacey Abrams has 51% to Raphael Warnock's 55%. Kemp is not going to lose. Stacey Abrams is about to be unemployed for the how many time that she's run. They keep running this big chunky woman out there as if she's an unproven idiot, and they keep parading her out there. It's like they think, I can't believe she lost. Let's run her again. Oh, I can't believe she lost again. Let's run her again. Surely she's going to win at some point. All she does is lose. She's going to lose the governorship in the state of Georgia. That is a fact. So right now, she's winning because of that early voting, and 31% of that the voting precincts are in. So again, this is a perfect example going back to Herschel Walker, which there is a bigger gap now. There is a 12-point gap between Warnock and Herschel Walker, where there's only a 4-point gap between Stacey Abrams and Brian Kemp. So there's a sizable gap between Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock, but the same rule is going to apply, because there's going to be a bulk of those votes that are going to be in Herschel Walker's favor that could put him above Warnock, just like this race here that you're looking at. Brian Kemp will clearly beat Stacey Abrams. Brian Kemp will end the night, probably not even in the position that you see Stacey Abrams in right there at 51.7. Brian Kemp should have closer to 54%, maybe 53%, but it's going to be a handed win. I don't think he's going to struggle to get over that 50% mark to win re-election in that state. And again, what's Stacey Abrams going to do? What are they going to put her in next? I mean, are they going to try to run her for a Senate seat in Georgia in 2 years? Maybe a congressional seat? I don't know. They got to find something for her. She's got to have dirt on somebody, because she is a clueless idiot with no resume to speak of. I mean, she's got a resume, obviously, but it's nothing impressive. It's nothing that people who are 10 times smarter than her don't have something 100 times better than her. Yet here she is being paraded out as a savior to the Democrat Party. So she's got to know something on somebody, because her qualifications do not put her in the position for them to keep running her like this. And you see that number just ticked up for her. It went up to 52%. Doesn't matter. Brian Kemp is going to, I'm telling you, Brian Kemp's going to win in Georgia. I'm very, very confident in that. So let's see. I'm curious, using that same thought process. So DeSantis now is at 57.9. 57.9, and Chris is at 41.5. I'm curious on Marco Rubio if my theory that the senators and the governors are very close. I didn't need to do that. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Because now I don't know how to get back out of that. Can I just go back? Good enough. Works for me. Let me get back in where it's Zoom, where you guys can see it. And let's see, DeSantis, Chris. So let me go up to the Senate. There we go. So Marco Rubio, I'm curious. Rubio's, oh man, look at this. This is almost, I guess my theory does hold a little bit of water, which is not my theory. It's just something that happens. So Rubio's at 56.3%. DeSantis won with 57.9%. Charlie Crist has 41.5%. To Val Demings having 42.7%. So almost neck and neck, give or take a point. So, yeah, I mean, put it to you this way. If Herschel Walker happens to lose that Georgia senatorial election and Kemp ends up winning it, the governorship, I'm going to need some explaining because it's not going to make sense to me how that happens. Again, usually your Senate races follow the governors. Unless that person has done something really outlandish or whatever and pissed off a lot of people, usually not going to see those numbers not be somewhat the same. So we shall see. I'm just curious if they've called anything else. Let me just roll through here real quick. I don't see anything else being called at this point. I would like to see what Raphael Warnock's Gun Owners of America grade was. And I've got, if you guys didn't see it this morning, let me get back over here. What I showed you guys this morning. And I guess I suppose I could pull that up. But yeah, let me do that. Let me pull that up for you guys. Yeah, let's go over here. Select this. I want to show you the Gun Owners of America rating that I use. Here we go. Okay, this is what I use right here to, I actually posted that this morning on a YouTube video that I put out. I guess I can turn this one off because I'll use this one. So let me go down to Georgia. And any of you guys in Georgia, boy, I sure hope you guys voted. Man, I hope you voted. Hope you voted for Herschel. Raphael Warnock is a nutbag. Very anti-gun. Very radical. Here we go. Well, shoot. Passed it up, apparently. There he is. Right here. He has an F rating. And Herschel Walker has an A rating right next to him. So these are the Gun Owners of America ratings that I've been using. I've also got the NSSF's U.S. Report card here. And let me see where they rate everybody on here. Raphael Warnock also has an F. They don't poll with their questionnaire candidates. That just the sitting congressmen and senators. So NSSF doesn't have anything on Herschel Walker. But Gun Owners of America is kind enough to send out questionnaires to all of these people who are running. So you're going to see quite a few people in one particular district and wonder, you may be wondering what that is. It's because they have more than one candidate running for that seat, or more than two candidates running for that seat. You'll also notice up here at the top here, you see these three right in the middle that have question marks. That's questionnaires from GOA, from Gun Owners of America, that was sent out that was not returned with answers. So that's why you're going to see that. So again, I have my thoughts on that when people return them unanswered, but nevertheless, I mean, I guess people have their reasons. I'm not going to get into that. So let me go back. I want to pull. I want to pull this other one. Go back to this one. Is that the one? Yeah. Let's stay on that one for now. I just want to keep this map up there because to me it's a good map, and I can go in there and click to update a little bit of it every now and then so that we can get a general idea of where we fall. You are starting to see a little bit of red out there. A lot of that blue that you see, that blue was already expected. It's people, either incumbents who were not risking a chance of losing, or else in particular states and areas, that really don't align themselves with any kind of conservative beliefs or anything like that. So you're not going to see that. I don't think the Second Amendment is on any particular ballot, as far as obviously not on a ballot, but I don't think it controls any particular ballot as much as it probably does with the governorship in New York. That's one that I'm keeping a really close eye on. Here in New York, there's no results yet. And my guess is you're not going to see results from New York until the very last moment, because they're not going to want to give any kind of clue or hint that Lee Zeldin might be winning that race. And I think Lee Zeldin will win the governorship in New York and knock Kathy Hochul's unelected ass straight out of there. That will be, in my personal opinion, the biggest victory in this election for the Second Amendment. I truly believe that. Kathy Hochul could have done almost nothing anti-gun and just sat back and just wrote it out until the election, and she would have easily won re-election in the state of Florida. New York. The people in the state of New York they're not looking for a reason to vote Republican. They're perfectly happy voting for a Democrat every single time. She gave them a reason to want to vote Republican. So this is going to be a testimony to the Second Amendment more than any other race. I don't care if it's Senate, House, governor, whatever. The governorship in New York, if Lee Zeldin is successful in beating Kathy Hochul, you're going to see people get a little bit quieter. I got to repeat myself. Politicians only care about being reelected. And when you send a message to them that somebody like a Democrat in New York who was gift wrapped that governorship and had no chance of losing it, when these politicians who only want to be reelected see that a New York Democrat can be booted out because of her views on firearms and the Second Amendment, that's going to shut a lot of people up, and rightfully so, as it should. So that's going to be an interesting one right there. So I'm super excited to see results. As odd as it is, that's going to be the one that we're going to see gray probably for a good while, because they're not going to want to show anything on that. Arkansas, Senate, Boozman won. They just called that race. I don't think that surprised a whole lot of people. Let's see here. Hey, John. John, I'm glad you're on here. Let me try this again. I am having some trouble. John Crump's in the room, by the way, and thank you, John. John Crump is in here. John was going to be my guest, and I cannot get I guess I could read the link and type it into my phone, but it is not letting me. It's not letting my own Mac talk to my own phone right now. So let me look at this real quick. Forgive me, guys, for 1 second. If you don't mind, just stare at the map a little bit. I'll put the map up for you. How about that? You can stare at that instead of my ugly face while I try to find this to bring John in here, because I'd love to have John in here for a little bit of discussion on some of these results as they come rolling in. Okay, let's see. Yep, here we go. John, I'm going to try to type this into you. Again, guys, I'm still here. I'm typing something into my phone so I can get a guest in here, since I'm having some technical difficulties with my connection. I feel confident that this stream will go all fine, but I don't want to mess anything else up and risk upending the entire thing. So that's why I'm not going to mess with anything else while I have a good dedicated stream. Let's see. And so I'm punching in. I'm literally typing a link in. Okay. John, I just sent this link to you. Let's see if I typed it in right. All right. And I want to give a quick shout out to my friend Taylor over there. Just texted me. He's going to be wrapping, does excellent work wrapping vehicles, wrap my current Bronco, which is a newer Bronco, and he's going to actually wrap my 93 Bronco next week. So I want to give you a quick shout out, Taylor. Thanks for reaching out real quick. Looking forward to bringing that thing over to you next week. So, John, let me know if you got that link, and we'll get you in here. Guys, I'm sure most of you already know John. John Crump is one of the main guys, investigative journalist with AmmoLand, and does a lot of work with Gun Owners of America as well. And very good friend, and always look forward to my conversations with John. I will have to don my headphones, of course, so I can hear him. But nevertheless, I look forward to bringing him on here. I just sent him the link to invite him onto the live stream. So looking forward to getting him in here. In the meantime, I'm going to give some shout outs to all you guys that are in here tonight. A bunch of you guys are here, so I appreciate that. Neil Neezer, good to see you, bud. I'm not answering any questions right now because I'm just scrolling through to look at your name. So I apologize if you're asking me anything yet. I'm just at this point, again, just acknowledging you guys that I appreciate are here. Cheesy Rider, Rick Smiley, a lot of names are recognized, guys. Good to see you all again. Let's see. Canaventure Seeds, Christy Easley, what's going on? Riboflavin Folate, and if I pronounce your names, I apologize. Between my bad eyes and my attention span, it's my bad. Elena Bunch, good to see you again. Randall Reese, Diesel for We the People News, Minnie Trout, Neil Neezer, I think I mentioned your name already. Good to see you. Arumfo, Cheesy Rider, he covers me. Let's see, Larry Calball Jr., Vicky Gray, Arc 77, Andrew McCormick, Minnie Trout, L1V. I know that probably stands for something. Live Life. I got it. Live Life. Good to see you, bud. Timothy, is that an A? Sorry, my eyes are so bad. So-call. Victor Maxwell, Second Amendment Love. John, again, good to see you, John Crump. Johnny Three Bar, Jim Bob, what's this? Gord Spearin, Don Saul T. I'm gonna get back to some of that later on too, guys. I just want to look real quick. They are, I think, calling a couple more. Let's go back to our map real quick. Come over here real quick. So, governorship wise, let's roll up here and see what we've got. Senate. Just curious on that. Yeah, that's that Arkansas race they just called. John Boozman. Again, not really a surprise there. I think that was already going to happen. Katie Britt, Kentucky, Indiana. Todd Young. I don't think that's a huge surprise either. I'm really looking at some of these races that might be more in line with a surprise that's going to start to flip the House or the Senate. I think that's probably more what everyone's looking for. Florida. Let's go back to the governorship. I'm really curious about this. So nothing else. Bill Lee. Oh, Sarah Huckabee. They're calling that race. I think everybody kind of knew Sarah Huckabee was going to win in Arkansas, but looks like they've called that one. They've called the Tennessee governor's race, Bill Lee, Kay Ivey in Alabama. Of course, we mentioned DeSantis, New Hampshire. Chris Sununu, again, you kind of knew Sununu was going to beat Sherman. Not a big surprise there. Boy, he barely won, too. Of course, that's only 14% of the precincts are in. So those numbers will likely grow. You see, he's at 50.5%. You need 50% or more to win. Excuse me. Or you need above 50% to win. So he's just got it by half a percentage point. But again, those numbers will likely go up. If they're already calling the race, it's likely higher, much higher than that, for them to be comfortable enough to go ahead and call it. So, according to this, the GOP governors have lost 2 seats and the Democrats have gained 2. Let's see what the House shows. It shows in the House so far that the Republicans, and it's super early. Look, I mean, look how many more races still have to be called yet, but they're claiming that the GOP has gained 3 seats so far. Obviously, Democrat losing 2. And in the Senate, I guess it's been pretty much the same. Nothing's changed there. Let me look at some of my other boards. Let's see, Young, McDermott. I'm just looking up at the TV while I'm looking at some of these down here. There's a lot of good maps out here. I need to go check some more of them out. So it looks like you know what I'm curious about? Let's see over here real quick if they have anything on Texas governor's race. Here's our boy Beto O'Rourke. How does that guy get 1.1 million votes? What an absolute clown. Now, it should be an ass whipping from him, but we've got Dallas and Austin in Texas. Austin is as liberal as any dump in the country, and Dallas Fort Worth area is not far behind it. Sorry for you guys in Texas, but you guys got to know that Dallas and Fort Worth is not far behind Austin as far as being ultra liberal. The rest of the state, unfortunately, is not as populated. You know, Houston's kind of a toss-up. Is populated as it is, you're seeing that Hispanic vote. Fewer and fewer of those people are blindly voting Democrat now. So I think that Houston is wising up a little bit, but Austin's just stupid because they have a bunch of liberals there. And again, Dallas is not far behind. But again, there's only 25% reporting in Texas. So those numbers are, again, ultimately going to grow and change quite a bit. So roll back over here. Let's see what one of these other maps real quick. Okay, here's okay, yeah. Said Ohio Senate race. That's been a kind of a dirty one. Ryan and Vance. Ryan has a pretty sizable lead, but gosh, here we go again. You're in a state. Let me see if I can pull that map up over here so I can show you all. Where's Ohio at? Let me get into that senatorial race. Ohio. Here we go. Let me see if I can blow this up. Yeah, once again, just like we saw for the presidency, just like we see all over the country, look at the big cities. Look at Toledo. Look at Cleveland. Look at Columbus. Look at Dayton. Look at Cincinnati. Cincinnati. Excuse my French if you have children in the room. Might want to cover their ears up right now because I have to say this word. Those are shitholes. Those are heavily populated shitholes. And they are going to carry the state, unfortunately. You see the majority, the vast majority of that state is red. But your heavily populated areas where the numbers are is what's going to win that state. How frustrating. Of course, every state's like that. I mean, I shouldn't say generalize like that, but most states are like that. Unfortunately, in the state of Louisiana, those heavily populated cities are not big enough to carry Louisiana, so we don't deal with that. We see that same phenomenon of there being close races because those heavily populated crap holes have so many numbers. But I mean, you got to figure between Cleveland, Toledo, Columbus, Dayton, and Cincinnati, those are millions of people right there. There might not be that more. Obviously, there's not that many people in all the rest of the state, because those people are the ones that win. So that's why you have even a chance of Ryan beating Vance in that state. I really wish Vance would pull this thing out. 29% reporting. Again, as I stated earlier, you typically are having these Democrats who are voting much, much earlier with the early mail-in voting as opposed to the Republicans. So you're always going to see a higher amount of Democrat votes early on when the poll results come in. So we're still going to see J.D. Vance's numbers come up some, but likely Ryan is probably, unfortunately, still going to win that race. I hate that. Let's see over here. Yeah, let me get back out of this. I wish they would. Oh, here we go. Show all states. I'm sitting here looking at the button right in my face. Really curious about that Georgia race and that New York race. U.S. Senate. Okay. They're calling something else. Okay, Salazar beat Tadeo in Florida. So they're saying that. Are we looking at the same thing? Yeah, let's look at the House. This is what they're talking about. Republicans have, okay, I'm too shy on here. You see where it says GOP 32? Apparently GOP has 34 now. So they've gained 2 more additional seats. That should update here in a second. It has not updated, of course, but you should see 34 pop up here in a moment. 2 other seats have been called. So the GOP you'll see that gain 5 seats down below instead of just gain 3. I don't know where that was. I didn't catch that, but I do think one of those might have been in Florida and not sure where the other one was. So 54% for the reporting. That race is tightening up. Senate race in Georgia. Let's go back there real quick. Yep, look at that. Remember I said that earlier. There was a pretty big, there was a 12-point gap. Wow. Herschel Walker has really closed that gap. There was a 12-point gap between Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker a while ago. In fact, I had written that down. Raphael Warnock was at 55.5% of the votes to Herschel Walker's 43. Now we've got Raphael down from 55.5 to 50.3, and Herschel Walker up from 43% to almost 48%. So Herschel's closing that gap. We've got barely a 4-point, not even a 4-point gap right now between those two. So again, I stated earlier, those early votes padded that lead for Raphael Warnock, and now that lead is starting to dwindle quite a bit. So Herschel Walker seems to be pulling up now. It's still only 44% reporting. So there's a sizable chunk of the results that have yet to come in, with the predominant amount of those being conservative votes, or more specifically, Republican votes. Herschel Walker's got a really good shot at taking this thing from Raphael Warnock. Very impressed with that. That's surprising to me. I didn't expect that to happen so fast. You know, that change in that gap between the two. I thought that gap between would close slowly over time. And of course, Brian Kemp, he's pulling away. He was at 51.8% earlier. Now he's at 52.3. So he's not blowing the doors off of it, but he's definitely the lead is growing. Stacey Abrams was at 47.7% earlier. Now she's down to 47.1. Again, same as the Warnock-Walker race, 44% of the precincts reporting. So that's looking good. Again, guys, if you weren't here earlier, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Hold on one second, guys. Oh, Marco Rubio's thanking everybody. Let me mention this real quick. If you weren't with us earlier, guys, I did mention that typically speaking, since 2020, whenever your con artists and your Democrats decided that they wanted to get more and more people to mail in their votes, I guess it's just too much trouble to go out and vote. I don't know how the rest of us manage, but we do. And so they started pushing these mail-in votes. And, of course, you can manipulate a mail-in vote. You can't manipulate a walk-in vote. So they pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. So typically speaking, you see way more of your early votes, not saying that they're all. I know last presidential election, I early voted. But you see more and more of your early votes of your political parties, rather. The Democrat Party has way more of their people who early vote than the Republican Party has. So you see a low turnout on the early voting side with Republicans for a particular election, whereas you see a lower turnout on the Democrat side on actual election day, because they have typically mailed in their votes by now. So that's why you're going to see so many of these early leads by a Democrat, and usually that lead will either shrink or go completely away, with the Republican taking over that and ended up winning the race. When you see a Republican with an early lead, like you see Brian Kemp right here, it's very likely he's going to win the race, because your votes from today are going to be more Republican anyway. So he's only going to get a larger lead. So again, that's why I think I'm not concerned with Brian Kemp. I'm pretty sure he's going to win that race. I'm curious. Pennsylvania, we've all been talking about that nutbag up there. What's that one looking like? How in the world do you get a potato? Of course, 8% reporting. John Fetterman, 76.8% to Mehmet Oz. Now, I'm not an Oz fan, just like I'm not a Marco Rubio fan. Those two guys, yeah, I'm glad they're winning their races, but they are not pro-Second Amendment guys. I don't think we can count on either one of them for anything. They both support red flag gun laws, and I have no use for either one of them. But John Fetterman is rabidly anti-gun, where at least Mehmet Oz will sit back in the shadows and cowardly not be vocal for the Second Amendment. A person like John Fetterman will be vocally anti-Second Amendment, and that's what scares me. So I know they're both dangerous, but they're not equally dangerous. So again, I'm no fan of Oz, but Fetterman is an absolute train wreck in so many ways, policy-wise, physically, mentally. He's just an absolute. How do these guys where do they pick these guys from to run sometimes? Let's see. See if there's making sure if there's any more races that are being called. I don't see any other. I see new numbers on Pennsylvania. Booker ball. Okay. Let me run back over here real quick. Oh, we've got John over here waiting patiently. I apologize, John. Did not know you were here. Grab my headphones.
Hey, how you doing, Paul? And how is everyone doing out there?
What's up, John? I'm so sorry. This is the first time I've ever typed a link in by hand instead of copying and pasting it. And I got it right the first time. Guys,
it's all right.
I would like to welcome John Crump to our little live stream tonight. John, thank you so much for joining us. What a crazy evening it's been. I think predictably so at this point, but nevertheless, what are your thoughts on what you're seeing right now?
It's going the way that I thought it was going to go. Right now, it looks like Rubio's been called in Florida, and like you said, Rubio's not pro Second Amendment. I would say he's not even like Second Amendment at all.
Right.
But his challenger was definitely anti Second Amendment, and just like you said, in Pennsylvania, there's a lot of interesting things going on in Pennsylvania, and in fact, there's interesting things going on in Philadelphia and everywhere else. I think the reason why you are seeing a big lead right now for the potato, as you call them,
Yes.
is that a lot of it was early voting that automatically gets pushed forward, and Republicans tend to vote on election day, and those have not been counted yet. So that's why it's exactly as I would expect it. Warnock, we have to get rid of. And there's actually a Republican in Pennsylvania that we need to get rid of.
Senate or House?
A House.
Let me click over to that. In Pennsylvania. All right. Which one is it?
Oh, Val's going to kill me. Oh my goodness.
We'll look over here to the side. Jahana Hayes, Esther Joy King, Frank.
No, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, where are we at?
I'm gonna text Val, but man, I can't remember.
Here's some House results by district down here below.
There's a Republican that is actually more anti-gun than his Democratic opponent.
Here we go. John Joyce, Guy Reschenthaler, Glenn Thompson, Mike Kelly.
Damn it.
Those are all the Republicans. That's just 4 of them right there.
Oh, well, maybe he's running next time. But there is a Republican that we need to get rid of in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Well, maybe Val can enlighten us on that.
Yeah. He's like for like a so-called assault weapons ban and other things like that.
Gosh, that must be that wouldn't shock me if that's you see Erie up here with all the Republican around it. That's a heavily populated area, but it's Republican, it's red, so of course it's not in play.
Yeah. I'm gonna text Val and be like,
yeah, I'm a couple of these races, man. New York blows my mind that they're putting nothing out on that governor's race. Like they're scared to even put preliminary results out on that.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Look at that. I mean, not even a hint. They're not even showing what 1% of the precincts have reported.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be Interesting. I hope Hochul goes down. I mean, she just got handed a massive defeat. Um,
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said earlier, she could have just shut her mouth and won this election in a landslide. She has just the anti-gun stuff that she's done.
Fitzpatrick.
Okay, Fitzpatrick. Yeah. Well, yeah, Fitzpatrick voted for all the more recent anti-gun stuff that the bill that Biden put in and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I thought he definitely was running this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely interesting. There's actually a race that I'm watching in Virginia, that's one district over. It's Spanberger. She's running against a woman that's very, very pro-gun, very, very very she's just like a great person, a former cop. It's in the Woodbridge if you go up. Former cop, and her last name was Vega, but
Hmm.
uh, former cop and everything else. And she has a great story, and you know, and Spanberger is definitely anti-gun. And last time she won, she beat Nick Freitas, who is very, very anti-gun. And I actually did a story on it because Nick Freitas won until they found a flash drive with all these votes on it. So I did some research on the guy that found it. The guy that found it, I called up. I was like, why did you have this mixed up? He's like, oh, it was marked provisional ballots, but we wiped them out and we put real ballots on there. I was like, why did you wipe it out? Oh, well, we wanted to save the taxpayers money instead of using a thumb drive. Instead of buying a new thumb drive, we just used one that was old. I was like, was it an iron key? Because iron keys can be like $900. He was like, no, we got it from Best Buy. And I was like, wow. So I did some research and I found out that his wife was a paid staffer on Spanberger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that it's kind
Yeah.
of weird.
Yeah, a little tricky there.
So I hope she loses.
They've got 72% reporting in that, with Vega ahead 52.7 to 47.3.
Yeah, she's good. Spanberger actually refused to debate her. When they were supposed to have a debate, and Spanberger pulled out at the last moment and didn't show up.
All right.
So I hope, and there's another race in Virginia, Hung Cao versus Jennifer Wexton. Hung Cao is losing right now, but he's very pro-gun too. And very interesting story about him is he was a refugee. He came over during the fall of Saigon in 1974 as a kid. And then he, worked his way up, went to the Naval Academy, became a Navy captain, and now he owns a business and he's running for Senate. So I hope that he pulls it off. That's my district.
Okay.
But,
so that's your district. All right.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be definitely interesting. The Democrats are definitely fighting a uphill battle, and everything in the past few days have started breaking towards the Republican side.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. See, most of these still.
But yeah, Philadelphia, they said they're probably going to be reporting late in Pennsylvania.
So looks like a bunch of other polls just closed. 15 more. So we should start seeing a barrage now coming in. Again, I'm blown away by New York. So quiet in that state right now.
Yeah. A lot of people aren't happy with Hochul, and it's just not the gun issue. It's a lot of issues. The
Yeah.
whole COVID thing, of a lot of people. I spent a lot of time in New York, like a lot. Between Virginia, Delaware, and New York is where I spend most of my time.
Have you noticed in a lot of the videos that you saw come out earlier today? It looks like they just called governorship in Wyoming and Iowa. A lot of these videos that you saw from either Arizona or Pennsylvania, where you had these poll workers who were doing things that did not look like they were supposed to be doing them. They all wore their masks. It's just, they just can't let go, man. I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, again, I'm not anti-mask. I just, the fact, well, I am for me, but the fact that so many of these people are still trying to send this signal out there that I'm doing my part as they sit there and manipulate these ballots. What was the story? Did you get any more information on what you saw in either one of those videos? I think that, again, there was Arizona and Pennsylvania, I believe.
Yeah, Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. I talked to people at the at the Republican party up in Pennsylvania. There's a good guy running in Pennsylvania for the Republicans, and so I informed his campaign of it, and they are looking into it. I got in touch with them, Doug Mastriano, through Val.
Okay.
So yeah,
Good.
so we'll see. So J.B. Pritzker in Illinois was reelected. It looks like.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, did you see Miami-Dade voted Republican for the first time in 20 years?
For the House?
No, for governor.
No kidding.
Yeah, for the first time in 2 years. I mean, in 20 years. DeSantis has killed Chris everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I was mentioning earlier how there was this I bounced back and forth between some of the other weaker networks just to see what everybody else is saying, and they were like talking about how DeSantis might give up on his shot at potentially running for president after he narrowly ekes out a win in Florida, if he wins at all. And I'm like, right, really? Here he is just absolutely slaughtering Chris in that state.
I mean, it's not even close.
No. Look, some results are finally coming in from New York. Naturally, the early voting has it looking like it's a landslide, but I don't believe that. I still think Zeldin wins.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, my family that I go up and visit like once a month is in the New York City area.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people up there that do not like Hochul.
Interesting.
A lot of them blame the Democrats that are Democrats for like the whole COVID thing and ruining businesses and people lost jobs. That's very, very interesting. In Virginia, the biggest thing is education, parents' rights.
Okay.
Because you have a few people that are hardcore like leftists that want like critical race theory in schools and stuff, and they happen to be running. And there is a lot of Democrats, and this is the reason why Virginia had, Republicans took Virginia during the last election. But a lot of Democrats decided that they got tired of, they don't want their kids learning that crap. They want their kids learning fundamentals. And then they try to remove the magnet schools. So the magnet schools where, where if you score high enough, and they wanted to get rid of the gifted program. What they wanted to do is they wanted to do what is called a one size all fits education, where they get rid of the honors classes and they get rid of the special ed classes and they mix everyone together. Where some people need help, my kid has dyslexia, and
Yeah.
he's ADHD. He's very, very smart, but he went to a special program where they taught something called Orton Gillingham, and now he's like a straight A student and like acing all these tests and everything else. So that helped him, but they want to get rid of all that and they want to combine everyone together because they want to do a one size fits all
Mm-hmm.
education system, which is stupid. And e- a lot of the immigrants that moved to Virginia, their kids are smart as hell and they study and they put in all this effort, and they were being told, well, we're getting rid of all these programs that's going to help your kids get into college.
Hmm.
And a lot of them decided to go ahead and revolt, and now they're voting Republican. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just Google Loudoun County. That's all you have to do.
Really?
Yeah, that's where all the school district stuff happened, and they
Alright.
let the student off for rape because he was changed
I saw
gender.
that.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's my local high school.
That's where the dad got hauled off.
Yeah, that was my local high school. Luckily my kids go to private school, but yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely interesting. It looks like Republicans have picked up 10 seats. It looks like
In
here
the House.
in the House. And there's 20 seats left. Where is it? No, this is in the Senate. So the Republicans have won 10 seats in the Senate. So right now they're standing at 39.
Here's
Democrats
the House.
no, this is Senate. Senate. So there's been 5 projections for Democrats, 10 for Republicans. I'm seeing if anything has flipped. No, what map is that? Are you running?
That is a Google map. If you type in 2022 live election results, that's actually what the first thing that comes up.
Okay. Yeah, I use Real Clear Politics.
Yeah, I have a Politico one, and which is the other one? Some of them are a little fancier than others, but some of them are absolutely impossible to read. Let's see, where's that one at that I had earlier? I'm hunting for one. And this one's not a bad one. This is a Fox News one. Let me see. Grab that one real quick.
Yeah.
So this one, okay. I'm trying to keep it where we can read it all. There's the Senate and then the House. Must have the governor below. Oh, they don't. Key Senate races. Oh, that's pretty cool. A live ticker showing the votes getting tabulated. So yeah, you see Herschel Walker's definitely closing that gap.
Yeah, I figured he would.
Arizona, nothing in yet, of course. So let me go back up here real quick. Here we go. Key governor races. Let me look at that real quick. I'm just curious. There's some vote numbers in from Florida. New York.
Only 8% though.
Yeah. Georgia. Yeah, I just heard Ron DeSantis say thank you, Miami-Dade County, in his acceptance speech.
Nice.
Or his victory speech. That's funny.
It looks like in the House, the Republicans have picked up 5 seats.
See, there's got to be a tally of those. Did I just pass it?
Of pickups.
Yeah, let's see. House. Here we go.
Yeah, and real clear, they have a pickups. I guess it shows right there too.
Interesting.
Looks like Rubio held on too.
Yeah, I'm so not a fan of that guy. I can't stand Marco Rubio. He's such a fake dude.
Yeah, DeSantis just crushed.
Yeah, is bad. Let me get back to the other map I was looking at. It's easier to maneuver.
Yeah. The Maryland race, the governor race is over in Maryland. Somebody was asking. Yeah. Wes Moore, he's a Democrat. He is going to be the next governor.
Looks like he's stomping a mud hole in Dan Cox.
Yeah, they've already called it.
Okay.
I don't think that the Oz Fetterman will be called anytime soon.
No, I think these key ones, unless it's an absolute blowout, they're going to take their time on those.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. See here. It is definitely going to be a long night. Nothing in the Senate quite yet. Nobody flipped any seats. There, let's see here. I don't know. I'm looking to see where the votes are in Georgia.
Governor or Senate?
Senate. Yeah, Senate. I'm seeing where the outstanding votes are.
Let's see what counties haven't reported yet. But you have your bigger cities who have reported already. So if you notice, those rural counties are the ones who haven't reported, and those are typically going to go Republican.
Yeah. What is the report percentages, though?
Let's see. 55%.
Yeah, you know what? You need to get one of those. Have you ever watched like the Decision Desk where they have the big map and the guy's like explaining?
Yeah.
That's what you need.
I need a guy like that to actually, I would prefer a woman to do that, to be honest with you. But yeah, I need somebody else to just work that desk. Because we did this for the presidential election. And of course, that was a little different, but we stayed up till like 1:30 in the morning doing that. I don't intend to do that this time, maybe the next presidential election. But that's whenever, if you'll remember the whole debacle where Arizona was called like super early.
Oh, yeah. When there's like 2% in.
Right. So that's why I think we stayed up so late, because I think everybody knew this is not right. You know, something's up. Something stinks here.
You mean you didn't have any inclination something was wrong when they stopped counting at 11 o'clock and then they
Right.
stopped counting at 3 a.m. and all of a sudden it was like,
Oh, you sound like an election denier.
yeah,
I love hearing
most
that.
fair election in history.
Jeez, I can see with my own freaking eyes. That doesn't make me an election denier. Oh, shoot. Let's see. Somebody just mentioned Herschel Walker losing by 113. But again, you got a lot of those early votes that came in for Warnock, especially in the state of Georgia. That was one of the states that pushed stronger than any other state as far as early voting with Stacey Abrams, that whole campaign where they really, really pushed for that. So Georgia is probably one of the states it's going to be hardest to look at until you get well into those votes coming in from the actual today's results instead of that early voting. That early voting's got those numbers totally skewed in Georgia.
Yeah, I want to go back to where you vote on election day.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice on just election day?
Yeah, I definitely would be.
So just so curious about this doggone New York race. 10% reporting now. They're going to drag that one out for sure.
It looks like Florida went a little bit more red than ever before, like even in the House races.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, it sure is, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like they have a bunch of pickups.
You can see Orlando over here with the whole Disney World neighborhood. Stayed true to form, voted Democrat.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Hispanic vote is starting to break Republican now.
Well, especially the Cuban ones.
Oh yeah,
that's how that Miami-Dade flipped like that. I think they've been trending that way.
Yeah, over the past few years.
Yeah. So it's just interesting to see it finally take hold. And I'm hoping that by seeing the Cuban Hispanic population do that, I mean, I live down here in South Louisiana. So, I mean, we have a huge Hispanic population down here. We're only 2 hours from Houston. And, man, Hispanics in general are super conservative people, mostly Catholic. And to see them vote Democrat absolutely blows my mind. So I'm hoping that we see a bit of a change there as far as wising up a little bit to realize that they've been blind and duped into voting for that stupid party that could give a rip about them as people.
Yeah. Because they take it for advantage, like they take it, it's for granted. Sorry, not advantage,
Yeah.
for granted. They definitely do. I'm looking at see if we have anything here. This is with all the early voting and mail-in voting, this turned something in that you would know like by like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night who won things, and now it's like you wait days.
Yeah. And the thing is, they extend those deadlines to even get those paper ballots in. So they should look, rules are rules. If you're early voting and your ballot's not in on election day, to me, it shouldn't be counted. How long do we wait till we get these ballots in? Oh, we've got 500 that didn't come in from county X. Do we just wait till they all come in? I mean, I know they have rules where they have a cutoff date, but they keep pushing these cutoff times and dates farther and farther back. We'll be in December still waiting on votes to get counted. I was talking to somebody this morning who's really close with someone in the military. We have a military base not far from here. And he was asking me if there was a way for us and even Gun Owners of America to kind of start pushing and getting more involved in getting the military either making it easier or doing a better job of educating the military on voting, because this guy is on a readiness base here in Louisiana, and he said hardly anybody votes. It's either too much trouble. A lot of them don't know how to vote. They don't know how to cast their ballots when it's not their state. And I thought that was a really good point, because
we got a call. Greg Abbott has defeated Beta.
Oh gosh.
So,
all right.
That has been called.
All right. My map's a little bit slow, apparently. They still got a whole lot of counties still grayed out for that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody was fearful that Beta would pull the state of, not the state of Texas. I mean, come on. Even with Austin and Dallas Fort Worth, especially Austin, but it's funny. If you look at, let me just see if I can get in closer. There you go.
Yeah, and it could take some votes away, and we're going to see. I can't reflect that on the board behind here, but listen, a point could be significant, right? Can I show you what's happening in Ohio before I kick it back over there real quick?
I wonder what happened. My Fox News started playing in the background.
This is really interesting.
Is that me?
That's me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, how did I do that?
Somehow I clicked on live. So
yeah,
Beta, let's see here. Very interesting. I love election night. It is like, especially presidential elections, but any election night,
yeah. Well, especially when like an election like tonight, where you start to see a bit of a shift in some of these areas who have traditionally voted a certain way, and some of them are finally waking up. I mean, it makes you feel good to know that some people will actually change how they vote based on how much money they take home, how much money they keep in their pocket, how much it costs to feed their families. You know what I mean? I mean, it's nice to see that people are finally like, all right, wait a minute, my family, my friends at work and all that may vote a certain way, and that's I'm supposed to do it the same way because I'm a mindless fool like they are. But by God, I have less money and less food as a result of the people in power right now.
Yeah, I mean, that makes the big difference. That makes a big difference. People vote with their pocketbooks.
Yeah. Yep.
And right now with inflation so high, and not only inflation is high and the economy is in the toilet, but you have people like Biden saying that that the economy is great and it's better than it's ever been, and that's just not true.
Well, it's like somebody telling you that there's a blizzard outside and you're sitting at the window watching the sunshine. You know better. You're like, I'm not experiencing the same thing that you're saying with your words.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if he actually believes it or because he's, elderly and might not have all the facilities.
Whatever is on the piece of paper they put in front of him is what he believes at that particular moment. I truly believe that. You guys know,
stand up.
I mean, y'all know that I have a special needs son, so I'm not making fun here. I'm using the actual clinical word. He is mentally retarded. If you look at the definition of mentally retarded, that's what Joe Biden is. Again, I have a special needs son. I'm not making fun of mentally retarded people. He is by definition mentally retarded. That's just a fact. So you cannot convince me that he's aware of anything that's really going on. I'm sure there's flashes of time when he's cognizant of what's going on around him, but I don't think that's very often. And I truly believe that. I'm not trying to be funny. I think that is an absolute fact.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Man Against the Masses. That guy is a meme legend. I don't know if you know Man Against the Masses, but He's out there. He like does all these memes, but it's very, very interesting that a lot of places were pitting out there that there was going to be a red mirage on election night. And the Republicans aren't really going to win, but it's just going to look like it.
I mean, they've been trying to discount this thing. Of course, you see what they say. They claim that if the Republicans win, then that's the end of democracy. It's like, and this whole democracy, talking about democracy still blows my mind, but they're already setting it up that there must be a reason for it. Oh, surely there's got to be a reason if the Republicans win. They're so tone deaf. Even their own party has been telling them what they want. Their own party has been complaining about the economy, fuel prices, all this kind of stuff. And they've completely ignored them. And they're like, oh, well, abortion. Like they bring up topics that the voters are not experiencing right now and they're not feeling right now. They're trying to tell them, they're screaming at the top of their lungs, this is what we want you guys to talk about and work on. And they totally ignored them heading into this election. I think they shot themselves in the foot going into this election. The voters were trying to tell them what to run on and they ignored them.
No one cares about abortion when you can't put food on the table.
That's right. And that is not a hot topic item right now. They're really trying to force that to try to draw attention away from it because it can be such a polarizing topic. That is so low. And they try to twist these polls to make it look important. They still can't do it.
No, definitely not. It's just ridiculous. Some of the stuff that they try.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It's just very disingenuous what they do a lot of times.
So I'm trying to see. By the way, we've got as you can see, a pretty active comment section tonight. And guys, I apologize for not looking at more of your comments, but there's just so much going on between the monitors that I have up here and the 6 different things that I'm looking at on the internet right now, trying to monitor and see what pops up as being something new that's come out, which by the way, I don't know if John, if you saw, but I put out that GOA ranking early this morning, and I've gotten a ton of good feedback on that. That's something that whoever assembled that at Gun Owners of America should get some kudos for that, because I think a lot of people found that to be extremely helpful.
Oh yeah, they're doing a lot of good work. Aiden and his team is killing it. I have no idea. I play basically Call of Duty every night with the whole Federal Affairs team from GOA. No idea how they get anything done.
Oh,
what
man.
They do. They definitely do. I'm looking to see if there's been any changes.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through too. I'm not ignoring everybody. I'm actually going through all these different links to see what has changed, if anything's flipped. Looks like 60% is reporting right now in Georgia.
Santa 9489. Yes, there's tons of different. There's like 40 different LGBTQ flags you can pick in Call of Duty now. It's crazy.
Thank you, Antonio. And I appreciate your feedback tonight. You've been on it in the comment section. This is what John was referencing here.
Yeah, because you have banners in Call of Duty, and there's literally half the banners in Call of Duty are like have something to do with the LGBTQ.
That's so weird.
IA plus.
So the Call of Duty people tend to get really, really educated on firearms. That's going to be really uncomfortable to have the LGBT community knowing more technically about your firearms because they're so proficient on Call of Duty than you are. Oh man, my wife's nephew, who he's one of these career college students. He's in his mid-20s right now. Lives a very sheltered, protected life in Houston. He shot his first firearms with me when he was probably 20 or 21. Came over here for Thanksgiving, and he knew everything about the SCAR system and everything. I had one of my SCARs out there, and he knew everything about it and had never seen one, held one, or shot one, but he knew everything about them because of all the online gaming that he had done. I was like, dude, you know more technically about this firearm than I do. He was telling me all kind of shit about it. I was like, all right.
I mean, you like have to choose the ammo that you want, the type of barrel.
Yeah. I was almost embarrassed. I was like, man, but can you shoot it?
That is true.
Man.
That is definitely true. Let's see here. It looks like it's still sitting at +5 for Republicans in the House. And what is going on in the Senate? Let's see. Nothing in the Senate quite yet. No flips. Dr. Oz is climbing back up in Pennsylvania, which we expected that to be close.
What's your map showing percentage-wise reporting?
In Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
19%.
Okay, I've got 20% on this Google map.
What's the Fetterman is
57 to 40.7.
Yeah, so on the like when it 1% less, it was 59.4 to 38.2.
Okay.
So he's trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
Which is good. Georgia is worrying me right now. It is 48 to 50.1.
Yeah, just Herschel just dropped 1/10 of a point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's going to be enough votes out there.
Yeah, because there's not many counties left.
No.
If you look at the county map, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 counties left. It's not much. And that's not a lot of votes in those counties. That one by Atlanta is more than likely going to be a Democrat one too.
Yeah, it is. And that's going to be big.
Yeah. So it's likely, which again, so strange, man. I guess some of those people with the stuff that came out about Herschel, the kind of garbage that they put out, maybe that's what hurt him. Because with Kemp, where's Kemp at right now? Let's see. Let me get those. Yeah, Kemp's at 52.6 to 46.8. So those numbers are definitely not mirroring each other.
No.
So something's hurting Herschel over there, which Warnock is such a bad candidate. I just don't understand. I felt like anybody could have beat that guy.
Yeah, I think all that dirt that came out on Herschel Walker really, really hurt him.
Yeah, it had to have.
The whole abortion thing and stuff like that. Yeah. Let me look here.
And I just lost my signal in here on my TV monitor.
Okay, let's see here. in the governor's race, Democrats did pick up 2 governor seats. Maryland and Massachusetts.
So Michigan, only 10% reporting.
Michigan's going to be an interesting one.
I think so too. So looking at that, yeah, there's only 268,000, 238,000 votes. So they got a long way to go in that one, but it's already close, relatively close speaking in terms of percentages.
Oh, yeah. All right, right now, it looks like in the Senate, they have called 40 races for Democrats, 39 for Republicans, which is expected. Those are their safe ones that we all know. There's going to be a couple more that's going to that's going to break Republicans' way.
Well, definitely Louisiana. Kennedy's going to, I mean, it's not even close. It's not going to be close.
Yeah,
Kennedy's absolutely loved in Louisiana.
Yeah, that hasn't been called because there's just not enough votes.
That's right. But yeah, there's no threat of that.
Yeah. You know, I saw a thing that it was an actual headline that said talking about free speech, and it says free speech is a threat to our democracy. You know, unrestricted speech, they said, is a threat to our democracy.
Jeez. I mean, record that and listen to yourself when you say something like that.
It's crazy, right?
I didn't know that Santa 9489 says he fired his campaign manager after the abortion story came out.
Yeah. Although it looks like you might be closing in a little bit. 49.8 to 48.3 now, according to mine.
JR says less than 1 minute ago, a batch of 53,000 votes were reported, and Fetterman received 2,200 more votes than Oz. Fetterman leads by 177,000.
Where were those votes reported in from?
JR, do you know where those particular came from? Was it a particular county?
Yeah, it's you looking for pickups here. It's still plus 5 Republicans, plus 5 pickups for Republicans in the House. Democrats picked up 2 governors, and right now there's been no pickups either way in the Senate. Looking right here.
Where's that comment? Just what we're talking about. Jimmy J says mail-in voting has to stop. Totally agree. Well, so much from my live source on TV. I've lost my signal out here.
Let's see. What? It's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening with all the mail-in votes, whether they're all going to come in at 3 a.m. in the morning again.
Yep, when nobody's watching. Reese, what did you see where you said Arizona's having problems again? What are you seeing and where? if you can point us in the right direction.
Well, Maricopa County, they had all the machines go down.
Saw that earlier, but they claimed they had them back working again. They claimed.
Just waiting for a Senate result to come in. That's going to flip either way. Let's see. Let me see. Senate. We're getting close on a couple. We're probably going to have a call in North Carolina pretty soon.
Yeah, a little shot of caffeine here.
Yeah, according to mine, Herschel Walker is now 1.4% behind Warnock.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yep. Look at that's actually 0.1% behind him. So
On Google.
let's
Yeah,
see the
okay, yours
counties.
is a little bit more.
But that one county between Atlanta and Athens has not come in yet. That's not a good one. That's not going to be one that goes for Herschel. These down in the south will likely go for Herschel.
What county is that?
Which one? The one by Atlanta?
Yeah.
It will not let me select the county. Let's look over here. Gosh, that's such a close race. Look at that. They're separated by, what is that? 6,000 votes. Jeez. Oh, man.
I'm trying to figure out what county that is.
With Herschel ahead.
We have Athens and 2 over from Athens. So let me see if I can figure this out here. I'm very curious. We need Eric to come on and tell us what county that is.
No doubt.
Okay, I got it. So there. That is Walton County.
Walton County.
So I'm looking at Walton County.
Let's see. Does it show demographics or anything like that?
That's what I'm looking up.
Trying to look at some of these other maps right now myself. Here we go. Here's a map. Showing 0% of anything. Yeah, there's no demographics on this map.
I'm gonna look at see if I can see Oh, Walton County voted for Trump.
Really? All right.
Yeah, I mean by a large margin, 74 to 20, 74.1 to 24.8.
Well, okay. I stand corrected.
Voted for Romney for 77.2 to 21.7, and Trump in 2016 76.5 to 20. It's solid Republican.
That's absolutely good news for Herschel, Dan. He's pulling away right now. He's almost a full percentage point ahead.
So there you go.
30,000 votes ahead right now. So yeah, definitely pulling ahead. Wow. So maybe that will end up mirroring a little bit of the governor. Let's see what the get a little bit back over here.
What is on your map there? What percentage have reported
For the Senate? Let's see. 64%.
I got 73% here.
Okay.
And he's 0.9% behind. So let me go here. And see here. Just want to see like where the votes are.
As a side note, a quick side note here, the as the percentages come rolling in for New York, the gap's closing a little bit, slightly, between Hochul and Zeldin, where it was 70 something to in the teens. Now it's 65-34.
All right, so Real Clear actually gives you a breakdown where you can click on it and you can see like what like percentage. So Walton's right there. Newton. So
let me grab this.
Mitchell County has a lot of votes outstanding, but they're small. Murray County has about 30% outstanding, and that's breaking for Herschel. Muskogee County is breaking hard for Warnock, and they have a lot of votes outstanding. They probably have about 30,000 more votes to come in. Newton. They haven't. There's a lot of votes, and they're breaking hard for Warnock as well. Peach County has reported nothing. Pickens County has a lot of votes outstanding. think this is going to come right down to the wire.
It's looking like it.
Bibb County, though, they're a big county, and they're only have 56.7, and they're breaking hard for Warnock. There's a lot of little counties where there's a lot of votes at. There's a lot of Republican counties that haven't really reported anything. So it's definitely going to be very close. So it just depends if he can pick up all those small little counties.
Yeah.
Calhoun is they have a lot of votes out, but that's going right down the line, it looks like. So it's going to be it's going to be definitely interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. So strange that where's that governor?
He's 0.3% behind with 75% of the vote reported.
That's Walker, Warnock.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a little behind right now. This map that I currently have.
Yeah, the Libertarian is pulling 1.9%. Which probably would have went to Herschel. That's going to be an interesting race to watch. Let's go back to the House here. Oh, it looks like the Republicans picked up a couple more seats here.
Okay. Oh, yeah, sure did.
What race did they pick? It looks like they picked up one in Michigan. And there should be one more that we didn't talk about that they picked up. I don't know where that is. I think that might have been another Florida one. No, Georgia. So they picked up another one in Georgia.
Okay.
So what's your prediction?
I mean, I still think that Kemp easily wins governor in Georgia. I think Zeldin's going to win New York, but you see some of the stuff in New York's coming in. Of course, the island hadn't come in at all yet.
Well, the island's interesting because Nassau, because I spent a lot of time in Suffolk County. Suffolk is changed a lot. It's gone like once you get past Nassau, Suffolk until you get up to the Hamptons have really broken for Republicans in the past few years.
Really?
And they're like a lot of Democrats up there that I know aren't happy at all with Hochul. So I would say that might be a little bit that might be interesting to see how that plays out.
And look, Rochester's not reported yet.
Oh, Herschel Walker has now. Did he pass? Hold on, let me see. I'm going to look at some other maps. Yeah, Herschel Walker has now passed Warnock. So Walker is now up by 1%, like 0.1%. Yeah, I got to Ronkonkoma, and that was blue collar, like heavily dim area, and now it's not.
Okay.
And Islip and Deer Park and all these places out there that used to be very like blue, they're not anymore. So let me see here. Going back to the Senate, looks like 41 seats have been called for Republicans and 40 seats have been called for Democrats. All are holds. No, no flips so far.
I'm still sitting at the same numbers in that Walker race. I'm looking at some of these other maps right now.
Yeah, if you get a Real Clear, they seem to have the most updated one. And they usually do. Real Clear Politics is usually my go-to because they were usually on it before anyone else.
I think somebody in the comments had mentioned that earlier.
Oh, Real Clear?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it in passing.
Yeah, they're usually really good about it.
So they got, Warnock 49, Walker 49.1, with 76% reporting.
Yeah, they're usually pretty spot on.
I think the numbers should continue to move in that direction. I don't see, looking at some of these other counties, in some of these other areas like in Georgia, still not, those same counties have not reported. It's at 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. There were 9 earlier, so 2 of them have reported since then. What's that? Just curious if they're widening that gap for the governorship there. Yeah, Kemp's kind of moving away with that. 53.7 to 45.6 with 66. They're still sitting on that 66. But I mean, he's 2.5 million. Excuse me, 200 something thousand more.
All I know is I don't want to hear any Democrats bitching about anything. I cannot wait to call them election deniers.
Yep. Well, it depends on who wins as to whether or not they're election deniers, or who's the election denier.
Yeah. Because I don't know, they just piss me off a little bit.
So what other races are you interested in that you're not sure they're going to go the way they're calling it ahead of time or expecting it to?
I mean, I thought Hunk Howell in Virginia had a good chance, but I'm not sure. Looking at it, if not sure. Let me go ahead and look at Virginia and see if it's been called. Yeah, he lost. I thought he had a good chance of winning there, but nothing but the Spanberger one. It looks like she's gonna hold on. So it looks like Virginia is going to remain the same.
Okay.
So that's going to be interesting. The Governor Whitmer, I felt that she is vulnerable and she might be voted out. That's going to be interesting to see. Then you have the Walker, and Georgia is always interesting. The Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania is going to be interesting as well. Even though it doesn't look like Fetterman looks like he's up by a pretty big number. That is one. Those are a couple ones that I'm very interested in seeing how they're gonna break. Florida, all the ones in Florida is what I've been looking for, like Ohio and Florida, because those are usually the bellwether states.
Mm-hmm.
To see, didn't really work out too well for us last time. But Ohio and Florida, it looks like Ohio's gonna remain under Republican leadership. So that is good. The election result in Georgia, the Walker is that. I mean, that will be big for the Second Amendment if Walker wins there.
Yeah.
It looks like Warnock pulled back ahead by 0.1.
Let me go to that and look at it real quick. What percentage reporting are you showing on that one?
That in Georgia, it's like 77.
Okay. Yeah, here's another one. Reuters has a pretty decent one. Let me grab that. Yeah, they're showing 77 as well. I mean, they literally have it separated by 60 votes. 60. Jeez. Oh my goodness. That's incredible.
Yeah. It definitely is.
Man. See what they're showing. 6-point difference in Pennsylvania. Look what their numbers are on. Again, this is if anybody's looking for it, it's the Reuters one. It's a little bit more detailed, maybe harder to follow, but it's definitely got a lot more information. And it's still real early on that governor's race there. Let's see what kind of stuff they've got on here. That's still pretty incredible numbers right there to be that close. Wonder if, yeah, get down to that county level. So this was the county earlier we were talking about. No, was it? No, that's right here, at Walton County.
Yeah. Has any of that come in yet?
5%. So looks like only not even a couple thousand votes from the entire county yet.
No, that's good.
And you said it, and you see the color, it's kind of got a pinkish color, so leaning Republican.
I mean, they went big Republican in the last election. In the last 3 elections. It looks like it's tied up now. 49-49. So right now it's dead heat.
At 78%, the percentage just went up slightly from 77 to 78, and that put Warnock ahead by 2,000 votes.
That one's going to go right down to the wire.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, right down to it. Gee.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. I do believe Republicans are going to flip the Senate.
Well, they don't have to have, but they could really use those 2 seats, Georgia and Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was not looking that great, but again, only 45% in, so that's definitely going to change. If you look at these other states over here, no way Mandela Barnes beats Ron Johnson. I know they dumped a lot of money into that race, but golly, I think Ron Johnson's a decent candidate. I don't know what he's done to potentially lose that race. I mean, there's only 42% in, but they've got it listed as leaning Democrat. They put, I mean, the Democrats, the committee pumped in millions of dollars into that race. Ron Johnson was outspent big time. That sucks if he loses that one. I think he's actually a decent senator.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he might hold on.
I hope so. Well, I mean, they're not saying they project it or suspect it'll go to him. It's just the votes are leaning in that direction right now. I mean, but look at Iowa. Well, Grassley's not going to lose that.
No. No, definitely not. Definitely not. See, Warnock, Walker. It's tied again.
Is it?
Yeah.
God, dog, that's so incredible. Whew. Surprisingly, Arizona's got 41% votes in. Mark Kelly with a sizable lead over Blake Masters right now.
Yeah. I mean, right now, Johnson is behind, I think.
Yeah.
But I think he can. Think he can make up the votes there.
How much of the? Oh yeah, there's a lot of the state, a lot of the counties haven't come in yet. A lot, probably a good 15 of them.
Yeah. So. Interesting enough, there's 400 votes separating Walker and Warnock. It's gonna be a dogfight.
Yeah. Sadly, that's one of those states where they'll be counting a bunch of votes in the middle of the night.
Smash time.
Is he in here?
Yeah, you got a super chat.
Where's he at? I'm sorry, I wasn't even looking at that. What's up, Mike?
You know, the first time I saw Smash Time on YouTube wasn't on a gun channel.
Really?
His friend has a pretty big car channel.
Oh, okay.
Cars Across Texas.
Yeah, Mike is we've embraced him in the South. Probably wouldn't have been so quick to accept him from California, but he turned out okay. He changed his ugly ways.
Yeah, Santa is bringing up a good point. If neither gets like the majority, it goes to a runoff.
So how many votes does the Libertarian have so far?
1.9.
Oh man.
The Libertarian is what cost the two Republicans last time. And I'm a Libertarian.
James asked about the Texas governor's race. They done called that, right?
Yeah, they called that a long time ago.
For Abbott.
Yeah, Abbott smoked them.
Let me see if they have some updated numbers.
On the governor's race?
Yeah.
Yeah, 53.8 to 45 right now. Uh-oh. Man Against the Masses sent a meme This is. Oh my goodness.
Is it something you can share?
Yeah.
Here, let me grab it. That's good stuff. Oh, Herschel, get it done, man. Let's see where.
All right. Go back to my Senate here. Johnson's coming back.
Is he?
Yeah, 48.9 to 50.9.
All right, good. Oops.
There is 1,000 votes separating Herschel Walker and Warnock.
Man, somebody's going to be pissed off in that race at the end of the night.
Yeah, but if neither one of them gets the 50%, then it's going to go to a runoff. I'm interested in the Mark Kelly race.
Let's see.
That's Arizona, so.
Yeah, I'm trying to get over to it.
%, reporting in is 56.4 to 41.3.
Boy, those guys, that's one of them that ran as far and as fast as he could from Joe Biden.
Oh, Mark Kelly?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That man was like, you're not tying me to that guy.
Yeah. Wow. It's literally like 400 votes separating Walker and Warnock. Mark Kelly is definitely a gun grabber.
Oh, yeah, but he's got his own SIGs. He's quick to remind you about that.
Let's see here.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Libertarian, 62,000 votes.
Walton County. Wow. It's a toss up right now in Walton.
That's a good question. Chewing bubble gum. How's Kari Lake? 100,000 vote behind in Arizona. Katie Haas wouldn't even debate her. I didn't notice that. Let me go back and look at that.
Yeah, that's another person that refused to. In Virginia, you had one Democrat refused to debate the Republican.
That's 40% of the votes, as we were talking about earlier. I mean, if 40% of the votes are in, and there's 11-point difference between the two, there's a very good chance that Kari Lake easily rolls up in there. It's just not tight right now with only 40%.
Okay, let's see what is going on with Dr. Oz.
There he is. I guess he's pulling up a little bit. Here again, libertarian vote. It's pulling a bunch of votes.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Oz to catch up, though. Not impossible, but hard. Walker's up by 1,300 votes. Seventeen seats left in play in the Senate. So that's going to be interesting.
So
Fox News is predicting that of the 17 seats left, the Republicans are going to take 12.
really,
Which will give them, hopefully they're right, because that would give them the majority.
that would be, yeah.
Georgia. Georgia's on my mind. Herschel Walker is at 49.3%. So get another 0.8%.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look at the vote count, he's 16,000 votes ahead.
Yeah.
But there again,
but you gotta get 50.1
right?
To get a runoff.
Right. Oh man, they might not make it. It ain't looking like they're going to make it. Not with it being this close.
The Laxalt race is one that I'm interested in. Under Nevada.
Get over to that.
He's a GOA guy. I went to where they had like the big donor Zoom call.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool.
I'm going to keep this on Georgia for a minute. It looks like they got votes coming in pretty quick.
You keep that on Georgia. Well, Laxalt, it's not even closed out of Nevada. What the hell am I thinking? Is it? Maybe it is.
Thanks for those updates, JR. Imagine 28,000 votes reported, and Lake received 1,728 more votes than Hobbs.
Yeah, Nevada's not been closed yet.
Yeah. Looking at that Maricopa County thing this morning, I thought it was pretty interesting that when you put your ballot in the machine, would kick it back out. They were saying that if you put it in a different slot, the third slot, that it would be counted by hand later that night. Well, my thing is, why don't you count all the damn votes by hand then, if that's the most reliable way to do it? Why would you risk anything being automated? I'm not into that whole thing, man. Even our vote, when I voted today here in Louisiana, we still don't have like a touch screen. It's still like a membrane board where you kind of push the button in.
No, okay.
At least I feel like that's still more of a less way. I guess it's all electronically collected, so anything can be manipulated. But
yeah, we have Scantrons.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. You feeling a little bubble?
Mm-hmm. So Walker's lead is growing a little bit.
Hopefully it keeps on growing. I don't want to run off.
No, because that just opens up the door for more bull crap to happen.
North Carolina, Ted Budd.
So, Bob, where is that? What state are you in? We had touch screens and a printout that was scanned in. Just curious. Oh, I forgot about J.D. Vance in Ohio. Totally forgot about that. In fact, there's a couple of them I need to go look at. Let's see. Yeah, he sure is. J.D. Vance, 54 to 45.9. Wow. That's a perfect indicator right there of those early votes being gobbled up by the current votes by the Republicans, because Ryan was winning pretty sizably earlier, like an hour and a half ago. And now Vance is crushing him. That's good. That's a good one right there. That's another Democrat that ran to the hills whenever Biden's name was mentioned. Ryan, he wanted nothing to do with Joe Biden.
Somebody was asking about Ted Budd. He is up. So Ted Budd is up.
Okay. Another update from JR. So Walker's up by 30, almost 30,000. Well, if he can keep his foot on the gas. California's reporting nothing right now.
Yeah, California, the poll's not closed yet.
Right. There's probably several of those states on the West Coast.
Yeah, California closes at 8, which 8 local, which is 11 o'clock Eastern. So not for another 25 minutes, 29 minutes. Same with Nevada.
So Georgia just went up to 82%.
Looks
and
like
Walker increased even more.
nice. There's another Republican pickup in the House, and see where that is. Looking for. Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tennessee. Yeah, I don't think Dr. Oz has. I don't think he's. I don't think he can win.
Nope, it don't look like it, does it? 57%.
Now let's go ahead and take a look at where the outstanding votes are.
In Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Butler County, which is a pretty big county, still have 30% out, and that's breaking hard. That's in Western Pennsylvania. That's breaking hard for Oz. Cambria County, they have a 15% out, and that's breaking hard for Oz.
Yes, the void that bites. The stroke
Chester
victim
County,
is ahead.
Yeah, Chester County is breaking for Fetterman, and that's a pretty big county. Dauphin County is pretty big, and that's breaking for Fetterman, and they're only at 37% reporting. Delaware County, only 8%. That's a massive county. Erie's neck and neck. So it's a big county, but it's neck and neck. I don't think he has a pass.
Doesn't look like it. Not for as far back as he is.
Delaware County's that's gonna be killer. Montgomery County only has. That's a massive county, and only 31% have reported in. Like Philadelphia suburbs. So I think Dr. Oz.
Yeah, I don't think he has a chance.
No.
I mean, like I said earlier, if it wasn't for the fact that Fetterman's such a nutbag and almost like a younger, fatter version of Joe Biden, I'm no fan of Oz, but at least your first term senators sometimes are a little quiet and will vote quietly the right way.
Although Oz is making a little run of it, but Walker is 0.4% away from crossing the 50% mark, which will prevent a runoff.
Come on, man.
Wu-Tang Clan. What's up, Bob? Yeah, Bob. You know Wu-Tang Clan? He works for JFD Supply.
Okay.
Great guy.
That's a pretty good way to put it. It's on a 9489. Sling Blade defeats the cardiothoracic surgeon. Thanks, Pennsylvania. Yeah. Talk about voting along party lines.
Yeah, Wu-Tang said he Twittered this when he saw that was on. All right, let's see Georgia. Come on, Walker.
Let's run back. See, we got
82.7% reporting.
I mean, I don't see Warnock, like you said, unless Walker just can't get over the 50% hump.
Yeah.
I mean, he's slowly inching away from Warnock.
Yeah, he is.
Let's keep an eye on a couple of these governor's races. Michigan and New York are about the same percentage-wise. Georgia, they don't want to call it, but Kemp's not going to lose that. Boy, Georgia sure.
It'll be racist if they call it, right?
Well, absolutely. Well, I think somebody in the comment section a moment ago said that Abrams is already grumbling about racism.
You joking?
Somebody in the comments probably 15, 20 minutes ago said that. We were in mid-conversation, so I didn't post it, but yeah. So Whitmer leads by 92,000. Jason, Newsmax called what? Which race did they call? Yeah, Bob says John Kennedy blew out Louisiana. We knew he would. I don't think anyone here was worried about that. It's funny, we went to the GOP convention in Lafayette, Louisiana on behalf of GOA. And Bill Cassidy wasn't even invited. And he's a sitting Republican senator. Wasn't even invited to the GOP convention.
That's awesome.
And everybody there absolutely loved Kennedy. He was cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna Google Susie Abrams. or Abrams.
I mean, she's got, for as few counties that are left, I don't
Stacey Abrams.
think she has any chance. I mean, what's there? 1, 2.
Oh, she's complaining of voter suppression.
Of course, that's the same thing she. The last time she lost, that's what she said. But didn't they pass all these wonderful new laws over there, or ways that people could vote? What suppression are we talking about this time?
I don't know. Hey, most secured election ever, right?
Right.
It's a joke. Can we start calling her an election denier?
Yeah. What is she going to do now? I mean, they keep putting her up like she's the next thing, and she fails every time. I don't know at what point they just move on to the next golden child.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a joke.
Let's go back over here and see. We're still at 83% in Georgia. No change there. It's got to be updated any minute now, though. It's so close to 50%, man. I bet Herschel Walker never thought 4/10 of a point was that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be big. Four-tenths of a point is massive.
Yeah. Drew brings up a good point. I just will never understand all the restrictions they put on us as gun owners of a fundamental Second Amendment right, but voting, which is not a constitutional right, they piss and moan because we expect them to go get a free ID to show to vote. I never will understand that screwed up logic that we should do everything in order to get a gun or possess or own a gun, yet to cast a vote, they don't need to show any kind of an ID. It's too hard. Yeah. It's suddenly too hard.
Yeah, I was talking to someone and I was like, I'm against voter ID law. I mean, I said ID laws. I didn't say voter ID laws. It's ID laws. And they're like, yeah, that's awesome. So am I. I'm like, yeah, you should not need an ID to buy a gun. And they were like, what?
Yeah, dead air right there.
Like, what?
What we got up here? What JR say? Whitmer received 13,000 more votes than Dixon. Whitmer leads by 106,000. God dang it. That's another one. How did those people in that state vote for that woman when she was giddy about shutting it down during all that COVID mess.
I don't know, man. It's like Republicans have picked up 8 in the House. All right, let's see. We had that one in Tennessee already. Where was the other one? Oh, another one in Michigan. I'm going to go back to Pennsylvania, check on our good friend, Dr. Oz. He's closing it. He is closing in.
Wow. Man.
I don't know. Georgia seems to pause.
You're still sitting at 83%?
Yeah. That makes me nervous.
That's whenever a pile of votes usually comes rolling in from some unexplained area. That's pretty interesting. In New York, they have almost 2,000 write-in votes.
Yeah, New York is massive, though, so. 2,000 out of 3 million is
right.
Insubstantial. They're still saying 83%.
Kelly's not having much of a problem with Blake Masters.
No, doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, it's weird that Georgia's kind of stuck at 83. With 2 counties not reporting anything. Stevens County and Sumter County.
You said Stevens and Sumter?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up and see how they voted.
MSS question about the House gun control bill passed months ago, but is in limbo until Senate takes it up. What else is in limbo? 2A related.
In the House?
I don't know of another House bill that passed. The one that went back and forth, they signed that into law, unless there's another one I'm not aware of.
Bipartisan. There's a bunch of them that are floating around that don't really have that much support. What I'm more concerned about is like they got the bipartisan Safer Communities Act passed. What else can they get passed?
Yeah. And in this case, to answer the question, if there is anything out there, it would probably remain in limbo, even if the Republicans took the Senate, because they don't have enough votes in the Senate to pass anything else anyway right now. I mean, they could mathematically, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, well, they're still all right. They're still the filibuster, but
Right.
I'm all about protecting the filibuster.
Yep. We're still sitting at 83% in Georgia. That's a little odd. That hasn't budged.
Yeah, Sumter County, that's a Democrat county.
Mr. I guess that's Ocroso. What website is that you're on? The one I'm currently on is I'll post the link. It's a Reuters one.
Ohio just called for J.D. Vance.
No kidding.
That's what someone's saying. That would be good. Interesting.
Lamps and Stove says, do you see the ATF backpedaling on the brace rule if the Republicans win the House and Senate? Nope, because I don't think the ATF cares what anybody in any party says.
No. Definitely not. The ATF doesn't care about anyone.
Nope. They've been given free reign to do whatever they want, and they're not going to stop doing that until somebody stops them.
Yeah. That is true.
61% reporting for governor's race. I think there's more than that. Oh, we're up to 85% now in Georgia. It did bump up 2 percentage points, and Walker lost a little bit of his lead. Yep. He's up by about 22,000. Not much, but he did lose a little bit of his lead, down to 49.3%. And he was 49.6. It sucks.
Yeah, where do those votes come from? Do you know?
Let's see if one of those other those same two counties are showing nothing, so it had to have come from some of the other surrounding counties.
I don't think that, honestly, I don't think that they're going to get to. I don't think either one's going to get to.
Well, it's not looking like that because the libertarian votes are continuing to increase a little bit too. So it's continuing to eat into it.
I want to go back to Pennsylvania. I'm checking out Pennsylvania. $49.7 to 47.8.
Hmm. 71%. Well, it looks like I may have to bail out of here.
All right.
My wife just texted me and said that our son, most of my viewers know I have a special needs son. I lay down with him, put him to sleep every night. She just texted me, said he will not go to sleep. So it looks like I'm about to go inside and do daddy duty.
Well, you go inside and do daddy duty, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
No, man, I enjoyed it. I apologize to any of the viewers. It seemed like it was a little bit dead, but I think we're consuming so much information right now. There's not a whole lot of dialogue. I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. And John, as always, man, thanks for coming on here. I appreciated the back and forth and the insight. Hopefully we wake up to some good results tonight. I'm gonna go lay down, put my son to bed, and hopefully watch some more of these results and hopefully some things change.
All right, I'm gonna go play Call of Duty.
All right, man. Have a good night, John. Guys, thank you all for hanging out with us too. We appreciate you all. Talk to you all soon.
Thank you, guys. All right.